All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I see that we are now live on Facebook. Welcome, everybody, to the first edition of the IAA talk show. And this session is all about volunteers because one of the things that we do want to do is recognize our volunteers. And we figured what better way to start off than to ask some of our past presidents and, of course, our immediate president as well to tell us a little bit about their journey. And talking about journey, we branded this the Actuaries Across the Pond talk show because, of course, the IA is located in Ottawa, but we have a few guests that are from Europe. So let's start with our current president, Mr. Jan Karls. And Jan, you are the first IA president from the Netherlands. So you are Dutch. And
Yes.
congratulations, by the way. It is very much in your honor to be able to be to have been the president all year and for the rest of 2021. I wonder, how did you become the president of the IAA? Like, what drove you to submit your name to be considered for that position?
It was quite interesting. A couple of years ago, I would have never considered that I could apply for that role. It was simply that one of the officers asked me whether it would be interesting, and at that point in time, I had something like, "Oh, me, IAA president." So what I did was going back to the Dutch Association, and I said, "No, I got a strange request," and the Dutch said, "Yeah, you should do that. This is very good promotion from the Dutch, etc., etc." And I discussed it with my wife, and she was not really in favor of it because it certainly would cost a lot of time. But on the other hand, I had something like, now I always like challenges, and what I certainly would like to do is really contribute to the greater good, and especially in leadership roles. So it simply fitted me at that moment. So although my wife wasn't really in favor, I had something that's like, no, let's go for it.
Oh, interesting. Well, and this actually leads me to another question because I mean, when we talk about volunteering, one of the hurdles that we hear about often is that people are really busy, that they have a lot on their plates with family and work commitment and so on. Like, how did you find the right balance between all these things, all these pressures in your life?
Now, what really helps is that I'm already semi-retired for a couple of years, and certainly I'm busy. All retired people are also busy, but it's the work time isn't that heavy, so it's much more family time, and so it wasn't that difficult. Although, as I said, my wife is not always pleased that even during holidays, etc., I have meetings, but it's only a temporary period, so therefore it really helps.
Excellent, lovely, and just well, final question for you, Jan, before we go to somebody else. Like, if you're talking to a someone who's just on the edge of starting to say, like, I'm not sure if I should volunteer or not. Like, I'm hesitating. I'm busy with work and so on and so on. Like, what do you tell future volunteers or prospective volunteers?
Yeah, I compare it with my own situation. As I said, I like challenges, and challenges mean that you really learn something as well. And so the whole international environment really puts you in a position that you learn from other cultures, other views, etc. And it really contributes to your personal development. So that is the main thing. And for the rest, it's exciting that you will be able to really contribute to the impact of supranationals like the IAIS or the OECD, and that is something which you would never get in a situation like that through your local association. So it is another dimension. So it is fun. It's a learning experience, and it's exciting.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And I mean, when you talk about like learning about different cultures, one of the cultures that I personally was very, very happy to learn a little bit more about is the Finnish culture. So this leads me to Hillevi. I mean, before I met Hillevi, I don't think I've ever had a longer discussion with somebody from Finland. So do you want to please introduce yourself and tell us in which year you were IAA president?
Okay, yes, hello to everybody. I'm Hillevi Manuel from Finland, as said, and I was president 2007, so it's a long time ago. At the time, I was actually working full-time I had a full-time work in a big pension insurance company as chief actuary, so it was quite a challenging year. Wow. But I have to say that what is the reason to become a president? I don't know, because actually I was just asked. And all the discussions are behind the curtains and nominations committee but it's I have to say it's really an honor to be asked, because then it's your fellow colleagues who consider that you are suitable for that great role. But my path was a little bit different from Jana, I think, because actually I had been involved with the IAA for many, many years before coming to president. And it was a reason to get involved with the IAA and actually the European organization as well, was that I wanted to get out of the box, because I'm coming from a small country, a small profession, and also my business as a pension actuary, it is very domestic business, and I was unhappy to have this small box to work with, and so I wanted to get out to see what the other actuaries are doing, how the profession is developed in different areas or if different part of the world. And especially, as Jan said, the same, to learn from it to other people, and also to bring back something to my home association. It's not just getting, it's also giving. And that was actually, I served in many various roles before coming first as a chair of Social Security Committee, and then many other roles. And when I was asked, the IAA has become very important to me. And then I wanted to be involved, to have an impact, to promote our profession and to speak for the international cooperation.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I mean,
yeah.
And Social Security, as we know, and pension is such an important part of some of the giving back and making sure that the work of actuaries is actually good for the common good and for the well-being of society. That's really important. I like those terms, because are these some of the terms that you use when you're talking to someone who could be a potential volunteer?
Yes, indeed. Yes, because I think there are at least these two issues. The first one is to learn and to get opportunity to learn from other actuaries and other countries, as Jan has just said. But there's also the important to give some back, to make the profession make a difference or have an impact, and to be part of that good what we can give to the society. So it's not satisfactory enough to just to do something for yourself. It's important to to be giving also. And this is, and of course, the great community which the actuaries are. Actually, we enjoy each other. And it's very welcoming community also within the IAA. I still remember how welcome I felt when I first joined the IAA meetings. So there's lots of offer to young actuaries or whoever wants to get involved with the IAA.
That's good.
You do something bigger than larger than your own job.
Yeah, excellent. I already have a question I'm going to ask the entire group in a few moments, but just before, I do want to hear from Lewis. So back across the pond, back to Americas in general. Lewis, please tell us, introduce yourself and tell us in which year you were IAA president.
Sure, Matthew, thank you. My name is Luis Huerta. I am a Mexican actuary, and I had the privilege to be president of the IAA in 2004.
Good, excellent. And so just in general, I mean, Mexico, you were the first president ever from Mexico, so congratulations as well. It's absolutely lovely to be able to bring the Latin roots up to the international level. But what drove you to raise your hand and say, you know what, I'm willing to stand for the opportunity to be the IAA president?
Well, yes, I had the privilege to be president of the Mexican Actuarial Association before that. And I really believe that volunteering in these kind of associations is very important. If you want to things to happen, if you want things to evolve, to improve, to change, you have to be part of the process. I mean, it's absurd to be just waiting for a miracle. No, you have to work for that. No, and that's what I did in when I was president of the Mexican Association, and I wanted to be part of the international process, and I have to say that having the privilege to be the first Spanish-speaking actuary to be president of the IAA, I mean that was a chance that I couldn't miss. No? So I was really happy to accept being president of the IAA. You know?
Claro que sí, excellent. So I mean, and when you were, because you said it was right or very soon after being the president of Mexican Association, you likely had a lot on your plate as well. How did you find the balance between the international, the time zones, the family, the work? Like, how did that work for you?
Well, yeah, I would love to say it was easy. No, it was not. It was challenging. Contrary as Jan is retired, I was not retired. I was 52 years old at the time, and I launched a new insurance company in 2002, so 2 years before that. So I had a lot of work, and the time consuming of being president of the IAA was very high. But if you have the support of your friends, of your colleagues, and mainly of your family, you can handle that. Of course, I'm in it. I remember at that time, at least 50 or 60% of the time I was out of Mexico. No? So I had to run my company from abroad, and at the same time, I had to deal with all the responsibilities of being president of the IAA. So it's not easy, but if you want to do it, you can do it. I mean, but the privilege of it is higher than everything. So
Indeed.
you
So
can.
you were ahead of the curve in terms of virtual management and virtual presence. I like it. It's good. So many years before what we have to do now with Zoom, but that's great. So if you're and I'm actually going to tweak the last question a little bit, but I'm going to start with you, and then I want to hear a little bit about the other ones, because one of the things that we hear a lot is, especially from younger actuaries, is that they are really busy with their work. They have all this work thrown at them, and they really focus on what's in front of them, like their immediate attention, but they don't have a lot of attention for international matters. So what do you tell a potential volunteer or to get them interested in wider perspective, or broadening their perspective to include international matters? Like, how do you talk to especially younger actuaries to be able to say, hey, no, this is important?
Yes, well, it's clear that today we are in a global economy and that everything is global. So you cannot concentrate only in your local things, because what is happening around the world will affect you. So you better be part of the international activities so that you can be ahead of the situations. And also, so I guess working for the IAA committees and being part of all those processes is very important, and it gives you a lot of benefits in a matter of having the global perspective and again looking ahead of what is going to happen. So I guess it's fantastic. I mean, it had been one of the most great experiences I have had in my life.
Oh, lovely. That's good. Hillevi, anything to add if you talk to actuaries that are really busy on a day-to-day stuff, but you want to get them a little bit wider perspective?
Actually, I don't think there's a lot to add to what Louis just said. It's as you said, to know what's happening and to be a forerunner instead of coming behind and just to put to the front of the matters when they have already happened. But in addition to the learning and the good community, which nice community with actuaries, I can say that it can also open you new opportunities, especially, for example, on your career expectations. Just tell on my behalf that actually it was through the IAA I learned that the actuaries are and can be very much involved in risk management, and that's a new area for actuaries. It was at the time, you know, we are speaking about 10-15 years ago, and actually this based on this, I came back home one day and suggested that I could actually start developing the risk management in our company. And so actually I ended up to become the CRO, Chief Risk Officer of the company. So it's important also to keep balance and understand the basics of the actuarial issues, the mortality issues and other kind of issues, but then also to look at the new opportunities which can arouse so that you can take part of this and part of that and create something new. I think that's very important to change all the time.
Indeed. And Jan, I know you do a lot of things as well with local young people in the Netherlands. How does that, are you hearing that on a day-to-day basis as well? They do try to do something new, try to get beyond a little bit more traditional areas of practice and do you know, their own path. How do you interact with those younger individuals and make sure that they keep under perspective the international world?
It's and based on what Louis and Hillevi already mentioned, thinking opportunities and let's say younger people, not only younger people, but it starts with the youngest one. They are thinking in or and really in because yeah, it is difficult to find out, okay, where can I contribute, or what is that are benefit of a certain action, etc. And I like Hillevi's example that her own personal experience. So what I try to do is convincing, let's say, younger actuaries that and not only actuaries, but in general the younger generation, that through a new experience you can do a better job. So by combining different activities, you gain more than doing simple things step by step, if you call it that way. So think in opportunities, think in solutions, and take some risk and new experiences. Although you don't know what the outcome will be, you learn a lot of it, and in the end you win of it.
Excellent.
So try to do something, and certainly you will face some risk, and you will face what is it, experience which don't come to a certain solution. But in the end, it is only good that you try and make some errors. That's not any problem.
Good. And it wouldn't be the IAA or virtual if I didn't at least have one little point about the international congresses, and this was not not communicated to you, so I'm throwing out a new question here. But the history of the IAA is all about, or has been set historically, for the International Congresses of Actuaries, the ICAs, and you have been participating and active in many of them. And what would you say if you have, for example, someone in your company who's a middle career, like not necessarily high career, but like not necessarily just, but in the middle, and who would say, you know what, I'm not sure if I should participate in the future or in the next International Congress of Actuaries. Like why or how would I make a case to the company to say like it is important for an actuary to be involved in the next Congress of Actuaries? Louis, start with you.
Yes, well, I guess the ICAs give you the chance to interact with all the people, actuaries of all around the world, and the experience is fantastic. I had the privilege to chair the organizing committee of the 27th International Congress that took place in Mexico, in fact, in Cancun in 2002, and I was the president of the Congress. No, we had 99 sessions during 4 days of the Congress, and we had 1,200 actuaries from around the world. 65 countries were represented. So imagine the value of having the chance to interact with all these people and all this knowledge and all these experiences. So it's fantastic. I mean, the ICAs are great experiences. Yeah,
excellent.
we recommend to be there.
Absolutely. Hillevi, how about you?
Just to add to that, what Louis already said, I think it's a great opportunity to learn something from other fields of actuarial practice. So usually you go to, I think many times you go to conferences or whatever educational courses to just to add to what you already know in your own area of practice. But I think this is very good opportunity to do something else to your personal program. If you are a pension actuary, take a little bit of non-life or risk management or life or whatever. I think that is good opportunity to mix and to have, maybe suddenly you have something you really are interested in.
Lovely. Yeah, going experience other fields of practice. I like it. Jan, anything else to add?
Yeah, first of all, I haven't mentioned it yet, but building a network, especially as a younger actuary, is so extremely important. And this gives you an opportunity to build relationships and really build your network, because you certainly will benefit one way or the other way somewhere in the future. So it is about thinking out of the box, because in some way, as Hillevi already mentioned, her personal situation, in some way you are living in a kind of bubble. Your domestic market is the kind of bubble, and you don't know what you don't know, and you will only break through to that if you really get in contact with others. And I do understand that not every employer is really in favor of sending someone to Mexico for a week with all traveling costs, etc. But nowadays, with the possibility of virtual participation, there's no excuse anymore, and you can do it quite easily, and you can convince your employer much more easily now that it really contributes to your work as well.
Good. Well, everybody, we're almost at time. I do want to thank you very much for this. As I said, and of course, as you know, the IAA is all about volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do all the things that we do without all the great volunteers that we have. So thank you very much for your involvement. Thank you for participating in the session today. For those of you listening to us live on Facebook, we are going to do another session later on in the year, and it will be named something different because we're going to go talk to people from another part of the world. So, and we haven't determined the title yet. So if you have ideas, send them over. We're always looking forward to your good suggestions, good questions, or if you want to hear different things for our future interviews, please do not hesitate to send us comments on our Facebook page. Any last words, Louis, that you want to say to our attendees today?
Well, no, thank you for inviting me to this session. It was very interesting, and I really encourage all the young actuaries that are listening to us to participate in the IAA.
Lovely. Hilavi, your turn.
Okay, thank you for listening us. And I hope we can see you at the next IAA meetings.
Indeed. Jan, last words up to you.
Yeah, this is a new initiative of the IAA, and it is one of the ways to get in touch to our volunteers and to our members, other than those face-to-face meetings. And so we really hope that we have more of these kind of initiatives in the future, and you will be participating. So I really encourage you to look at all the new initiatives of the IAA, and we will find a way to have a better connection to our members and our volunteers. So thank you very much for listening and watching, of course.
Thank you, everybody. That's it for us today, wrapping up our first ever virtual talk show. Thank you very much for attending. Have a good day, good afternoon, good night, everybody, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.